Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time to talk about Veissrugr again because he just got some more support, which is really cool. He got the big final boss that combines the first three mythics that you get. I love the art on this deck, by the way. I just want to say before we get too far in, like the art's wonderful. I love it. Uh, the deck has kind of taken a what's the word? More different approach because now we're kind of focusing on going second in a way. Not specifically because the deck wants to go second, because realistically, going first is pretty nice because you get to start laying on the pressure first. But a lot of decks in the format really want to go first. So I have geared this deck a little bit more towards going second. And we'll just hop right in. Nothing too crazy to start off with. So we have the little rabbit. We have the grade 1, which gets us our moon. We have this that on play looks at top 7 for the two mythish, one to hand, one to order zone, and we have Veissrugr. We didn't get a. I was kind of expecting an upgraded form of him, but we didn't get one. So not that that's a bad thing, but I was kind of like expecting something of that nature. Moving on to the main deck, we have a very big grade 3 portion. So we have three copies of the Persona Ride, and we have Veissrugr. So here's the thing: you could opt to play Twin Cast, and there's nothing wrong with that. Uh, I personally like Veissrugr because it helps you just like thin out like one more piece from your deck, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it does come up pretty frequently, at least for what I've been testing. And of course, we got the one moon because you search that off your order. And then we'll talk about the new card himself. This is Anger Boulder. So Anger Boulder, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, by the way. Somebody leave it in the comments if I'm with the correct pronunciation, but I'm pretty sure it's Anger Boulder. So he can't be normal called to the rear guard, which is perfectly fine. At the end of the turn, he has to retire himself, which is also fine. Uh, but he has two abilities. One is in hand. It is a Soul Blast one that you get to swap him from your hand with a card in your order zone. That's a mythish. So a lot of the time, if you when you're doing your top 7 checks, if you hit one of these and you're like, oh, I really want that like on the field, you just swap these two out pretty much, which is really cool. And his other ability is to actually call him because he says he can't be called. You have during the battle phase you have to put back one of each of the mythish. So you have to put back a copy of Garzormis, or sorry, Rostinir, a copy of Garzormis, and a copy of Helgvar. If that's how you pronounce it, you have to put these three back to summon him out. So it's you're forming the big Megazord, which is kind of cool. But he is a 28k beatstick, and that's especially with how this deck kind of puts out numbers. That's pretty cool. So you can call him out and then call Garzormis right behind him. He's gonna get 5 from Veissrugr's skill. Garzormis is gonna get big because he played an order, and any buffs that the order has is gonna go to him too. It's just a really like nice card to have, and it also fixes like the little issues by swapping itself with cards in your order zone. And then lastly, we'll talk about the last grade 3, or the last couple of grade 3s, which is the order cards. So I'm playing 3 copies of, I think it's Alfini, and 3 copies of Gulmani. So, or 2 copies of Gulmani. So here's the thing. Like I said, we're gearing more towards going second because a lot of people want to go second, uh, or want to go first in this format. So prioritizing this made more sense for me because well, this can only activate when your opponent's at grade 3. This one you can activate off the rip, which is pretty cool. So if you go first and you draw it, you can just kind of like hard push your opponent early on, which is kind of cool. But for now, I'm focusing on this just because more often than not, I'm losing the dice roll. It's just I just got to prepare for going second until the format changes, and maybe we can talk about going back to more copies of Golmani because I do really like that card. Moving on to the rest of the deck, if I could grab all of the grade 2s. So we got 4 copies of Rostanir, 4 copies of Garzormis, and we're playing 5 copies of the Bird. So here's the thing. Oh, let me get that. There we go. Here's the thing. You don't have to play this many copies of the Bird of Revenarog. You can also add in the Blitz order. I just feel like the uh, the one time I included it in, I just saw it too much, and not like in my hand. Like I saw it too much in the deck during my top 7 checks when I really needed like a Revenarog or anything else. So I just decided I'm gonna play one more Mythish. That's one more chance to actually hit off the Moon's ability. So that's what we went with. And then rounding up the rest of the main deck, we still play 4 copies of Helgvar, and we play 4 copies of Perfect Guards because we do not want to die to our opponent's shenanigans super early. That is it for the main stuff. We'll go on to the trigger count, which is going to be we're still playing Elder Breath. We're still playing 8 criticals because criticals win games. We're playing 3 draws, and we're playing 4 heals. Oh, there it is. I was like, where did the last one go? It fell down while I wasn't looking. There we go. So I will say the big thing, uh, a lot of people that play this deck might be scared of using the draw triggers, but the thing is, I'm finding that the format right now isn't as grindy as you would think it would be. So a lot of games are ending quicker rather than later. So I don't fear the deck out as much as I would have, which is why I do this. Also, Angerbold does put 3 back to call himself, so you shouldn't really be that afraid of decking out. Otherwise, the fronts just like don't do much, man. Like a front trigger does increase your front row by 10k, but your grade 2 or your front row rear guard should always be huge. So there's like no reason to have the front trigger because I mean Veissrugr's gonna hit for a decent bit too, but I just don't think the front triggers are like that worth it. They're not like breaking gameplay for you. So I think draws are currently the way to go for this deck. And that is it for this deck profile. Nothing super crazy, I want to say. Just some good old fashioned mythish beatdown. I'm excited to see what this deck specifically gets for the movie booster, which is set 17. I want to say they get like a new form of Veissrugr, or there's like a mythish for maybe they make Rufistor half like was it half Brandgate, half Keter? I don't know. They've been doing a lot of dual nations recently. It's kind of up in the air what they could do for this deck, but I really hope that this deck gets more cool cards. That's going to do it for this one, though. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your day.